Recording. Yes, it's me looking in the camera again. Everybody always laughs at me. I'm sorry. I have to wear my glasses. Well, we're gonna have fun tonight. We've all been having some heavy days, heavy times. It's been a very I've had a particularly interesting few days, few weeks, few hours in the last few hours here. So the oracle tonight is going to be about, it's a continuation about talking about ascension, but we're going to talk about it in a very practical way about how do we move on up. It's like, moving on up to the top, to deluxe apartment in the sky. I am ready to move on up. And we all have to be. It's time to leave the ghetto behind, time to leave the bad stuff behind. And if you're feeling down and out and whatever, the lesson of the last few days for almost everyone I know, including my own self, don't let your fear or limited thinking keep you from attaining what you need and want right now. I'm in the middle of a huge refinancing with my property. I've been going forever, and it was coming to a crescendo this week, and something happened, and my lower mind was like, oh my God, no, I can't, this can't happen. But it had to do with putting balconies that should have been on my property like 12 years ago. But in one fell swoop, I go, no, I need these, and I embraced it, and now I'm really happy. I thought it would block a view, and in one fell swoop, I called my friend Terry Owens. He came out. He's starting to do it, and but if I had been fearful and negative and thought, oh my God, this is awful, and wasted energy on not, complying to what needed to be done, then I would be in a downward spiral. And I think the way to explain more about what I'm talking about is you're going to find daily, hourly, minute by minute right now, when things come at you, for a second, your old mindset or the old way of not being able to receive something that might sound at first like bad news. You may find yourself kind of going, whoa, wait a minute. Do that, but then keep moving. And this is what I'm talking about, moving on up, pushing through. Don't settle. Don't let yourself stew on the past, live in the past, get out of your head. I had somebody here this week I've known for years, hadn't seen her for 2-3 years. And she says, I can't understand why things aren't moving forward in my life. She said, I sit in my house and I think about the past. I go, well, that's because you're sitting in your house thinking about the past. And sometimes we don't even hear what we're saying. And I will say stupid things like that too. I'll just say the most bizarre things. I'm going, oh my God, that was really, whoa. Thoughts are things, mind is a builder. That's one of the most famous phrases of Edgar Cayce. And if you've not ever read Edgar Cayce, The Sleeping Prophet, do so. It's what got me through high school in Connersville, Indiana in the 60s. Amazing intuitive who would go into trance, and he died in 1945. But literally, because we are in present time, it's not just instant karma, it can be instant dharma. We get so hung up in, oh my God, I'm having this thought, so I better cancel it, or I better do this. All you need to do is not have that separation of I'm thinking, I'm feeling, I'm opening, I'm closing it, we're not in that duality anymore. And so we're caught in a way in a limbo. That's what I've seen in my own vibration in the last few days is I will be just free. I'll be feeling like I'm flying and I'm free and I'm just soaring into new heights of different things. And then all of a sudden something will happen. It will be a person or situation or a thought. And I don't come crashing down, but I find myself hesitating, and I don't go down into a low or depressed place, and I don't find myself staying really stuck, but I know now when I'm starting to come out of a place of a higher frequency and when I'm starting to go down into a lower, I'll almost get a feeling of, it's not panic, it's more overwhelmed in an uncomfortable way. So pay attention to yourselves right now. You know the truth. You know when people are telling you the truth. You know when people are lying to you. But for so long, since we were children, we're taught not to trust our gut. We will go into a situation, we go in feeling something, right away we don't necessarily feel comfortable with what somebody's telling us or what we're supposed to be believing, but we argue. Anytime you find yourself with that battle, just again, breathe through it and know that you're not separate from it. Know that a lot of what you're going to be hearing from other people right now are reflections of the last of your lower mind's fears. Have you ever noticed how when you're not feeling in a good space or you're working through the last of a certain pattern, you'll manifest somebody that will be judging you or criticizing you or speaking something to you and you're going, wait a minute, that's not me. What? On some level, when we manifest people to say negative, positive, whatever things to us, they are actually picking up on a vibration coming from us. It's a very hard concept to understand, but nothing is separate from us. Everything in the outer world is a mirror reflecting back to us what's going on inside. And we've been taught in the Western paradigm to control, manipulate outward things. If I only put on the happy face, or if I have this job, or this car, or this title, or if I can get this person to like me, or I can do something out here, all of that out there is reflecting pieces of you to you. So when you become more and more and more whole from within, you will attract wholeness back. When you are fragmented, when you're in that codependent, needy, dark night of the soul, you'll find people to connect with you, but they won't connect in a whole way. They'll connect with a matching picture to a codependence or a hook that has to do with something very old, and it won't be fulfilling. But what you're going to find is you won't be able to stay there very long. I'm finding that very quickly people are getting it. You're going to find that instead of hanging out with certain people or certain situations for, a minute or no, probably going to be more than a minute. But if you're going to find that if you get hooked into something, instead of like 2 hours later, or if you're dating somebody 2 months, 3 months later, you're going to be, going, wait, this isn't comfortable. You're going to find that pretty quickly, because you're going to be able to stay more and more holding your space, your sacred space. You won't even go out and venture into a territory that is not right. Your comfort zone, as you get more and more comfortable in your body temple, as you get more and more comfortable in your consciousness, your frequency, your beliefs, your energy field, and let go of the perception that you need something out there. That's the key word, is needing. When we need something, there's a true codependent aspect to it. There's a difference between needing and wanting, and it goes like this on and on. But you're going to find that the more you fulfill what you think you need or want, you're going to feel less of a pull out there to get somebody else to bring you what you need and want. And as we all know, when we want somebody else to bring us what we need or want, it can be really disappointing. Or it can be really exciting for a minute, and then it's very hollow because it's really not about that person or that thing. It's all about you. And when I'm saying it's all about you, you are this incredible divine being. And for so many lifetimes, so many eons, we have been fed lies about how we are not worthy and we are low, unevolved, we're stupid, we have to learn everything. Teachers are going to teach us, religion's going to teach us, we don't know anything. We're born whole. We are born knowing and feeling and programmed with our divine blueprint. But from a very early age, we are disempowered. And we're truly in a time of the awakening to who we are as an individual self. So don't let other people repress you, put you down. Notice every day how often you are deferring to others, turning your power over to other people, letting people make other decisions for you when you actually know what you really want. The most common one, oh, where are we going to go eat? Well, I don't know. Where do you want to go eat? And then somebody picks some crappy place you don't want to go. And you're going, darn. Why did I say I wanted to go to Seasons 52 or something, something else besides the other place? And it's like, we think we're being polite, but we're really not. It's a reverse. We have this really interesting mind control, and we're so programmed to not hurt people. And I've talked about this in the last few oracles. When we feel sorry for ourselves, when we feel sorry for other people, and we then get in a reactive place and take action based on feeling sorry for ourselves or feeling sorry for someone else, what happens? We are plunked right down into attachment. We're plunked right down into a reactive situation. Victims will victimize you every day of the week. You don't see it at first. And when you're feeling like a victim, you will victimize others. You don't see it, but it happens. And it's a real tricky thing because we want to have empathy. We want to have compassion. That's way different than feeling sorry. And you'll all be able to resonate to this. There's many times that we think we're helping people, and we're not. And at the same times in our own lives, we think we're helping ourselves, and by whatever, and you really know that it's not going to help you to, go shop or do whatever some people do to fill voids. It's not helping you. And you might even be in the action of whatever you're eating, that bag of potato chips, or this is going to help me. No, it's not going to help you in the long run because you're going to feel sick. Then you want sugar. You're going to want to eat that salty stuff. You're going to want, it's all that codependent, reactive stuff. And you're going to have a lot of tests in this area. This is a really interesting thing that's going on Facebook. I'm going to use this as an example because I do a lot of animal stuff, healing, and we try to rescue and connect with animals that are particularly in gassing facilities that are out of state. And a really interesting thing has just happened. And I always wondered about this. There's people that spend hours, and they're networking, save this animal, do this. And I'm thinking, okay, I know you guys have a lot of animals. Maybe you should be petting them. It's not a judgment because it's something I found myself going, whoop, nope, I'm just going to have a limited amount of time because my cats, my dogs are going to be like, hey, that's great to help these other people, but why aren't you helping yourself? A lot of people that get into animal rescue need rescuing themselves. They're identifying with the sick dog or the sick cat or the wounded being. And there's a prime example that just happened this week, and it's really sad because I know this. I don't know the woman. I know her from Facebook, but she's a really great. She goes into the kill shelters, and she's a puller. Sometimes people will see a cat or a dog or whatever from out of state, and they're all different. So sometimes you have to actually get somebody to pull, or it has to be a legitimate rescue group or different things. So I guess for a few years, this woman has been now infamous, for going in and just getting an inordinate amount of cats and connecting them and getting them transport and getting them places. She had a massive stroke 3 days ago. They go to her house. There are at least 60 cats in her house. And now people are saying, oh my God, this is so sad because, we noticed maybe even a couple years ago she was kind of acting strange and she wasn't And it's so easy to get hung up in, oh my God, we're at the last hour we're saying this mama and her baby cats from being heart sticked or gassed, or, and oh God, we don't think, where are they actually going, right? And I'm sure she got caught up in that. I'm sure she got absolutely caught up in that. They went in and they found just this, is in Florida, Tampa, Florida, amazing amount of these animals. And luckily, some 2 or 3 groups have stepped up. Of course, and somebody called animal control, and it was just this whole thing. And I took it as it's not a judgment. It's, we all have these tendencies. We think we're doing the right thing. And it's been really a wake-up call to so many people that had called upon her to do things. So they were just assuming, all the money they were sending or all the things they were doing were getting these animals to where they needed to be. And obviously what happens to some of them, they'll take them, the adoptions fall through, the rescues fall through. It happens every day of the week, unfortunately. And so she had a kind heart. And then I guess I just saw some pictures. Some were in cages. It's like you're going, wait a minute, this was to get the animals out of the cages. So I'm using that as an example because we do it with people as well. We all know people that we have rescued. We think, okay, I can help this person. They kind of drive me crazy, but they need help. And all of a sudden, they're like gum on the bottom of your shoe. And it's toxic gum. It's not even, you start to feel depressed and you start to feel captured. And it's what happens. It's what happens. There was another example. All this animal stuff, but I think we can learn a lot through animals, and they teach us lessons. A woman in California had sent a thing to a foundation saying, oh my God, my 2 dogs really need to be vetted. I don't have money. Can you help me? And so, people were saying $25 directly to the vet, on and on and on. And she's got pictures of her dogs, and it was all legitimate. And so she races her animals to this place in California, and all of a sudden she's on, thank you all for helping me, and blah, blah, blah. And while I was there, I remembered that the shampoo I used to get at this other vet's. And so I go to this other vet's, and there's a guy that had just brought a dog in from the streets, and I took that dog. And we're all going, what? Because people have been like scrounging up money to help this poor woman support and she's like and then comes to find out somebody had lived in her RV, lived on the streets, and has a history of just collecting. And that, oh my God. So you go, wow. And these 2 stories kind of hit at the same time. So there's a lot everywhere. It's in all levels of what we're dealing with right now, where the appearance of certain things is being revealed. And again, I'm not judging these people. And it's sad because we've all done things like that where you think you're doing a great thing. And then it turns out it's not such a great thing for everybody. And I've seen it a million times. Allison, I know you've seen it, where these beautiful, healthy animals will get overlooked. But there will be this one that, oh my God, this animal only needs $5,000. Its eyes hanging out. It's got this temper. Let's save it. And I tell you the truth, people will send thousands of dollars, and the healthy animals get killed.
Yeah.
And it's the same mentality. And it's going on with this particular group. They found a number of the cats that had HIV and blah, blah, blah. And they didn't really have a choice because the vetting bills were already getting up to $3,000, $5,000 to they put them down. So people are going, oh, you shouldn't have put them, and I'm using it as an example because we do it, we all do it in different ways, how we will make excuses or we will think we are doing something when it's not, we're not helping. We're usually identifying with a wounded part of ourselves. So this is what I'm going to tell you. The more you get whatever pulls you, pay attention to it, connect with it, because it's in your path for a reason, but then let the higher mind connect with the lower mind, connect with the emotional body, and really go, what's the highest possible way to help? And sometimes the highest possible way to help is not to. And when you're in a place of compassion, you will find that you will start to attract situations, people, animals, whatever you can do for people, where it's reciprocal. This is one of the key things. Most of the time when we rescue or when we see victims, there's not a reciprocal because they're stuck in a victim mentality. They're stuck in a suffering mode. And we can do what we can do to help guide, but so many times there's a capturing aspect. So again, work on your wounded pieces because we're all going through it. The last few months, I know you can all identify with this. People have been feeling an extreme amount of mental, spiritual, physical, emotional pain. Pain is not your enemy. Pain is telling you something is wrong, something's out of balance. You're going to find that the pain will keep up until you embrace it. You won't be able to escape it. It's not there to torture you. It's not there because you did something wrong in a past life. The pain is going, you can't bury me anymore. You can't hide from me anymore. You can't drug me. You can't drink enough alcohol. You can't smoke enough dope. You can't work enough. You can't stay on the computer and go on dating, whatever. Whatever diversions you tried to do to not feel whatever level of a pain that you have, it doesn't work anymore. And so people are going, wow, this is really kind of scary. And the only reason it's scary is because we have been trained and taught to not feel. We've been trained to feel surface emotions. We've been trained to feel something that kind of feels good and settle for that. That's where we get in trouble. We settle. We think, oh, this is familiar. This must be good. This feels kind of good for a minute, so I'll go with this. And then like 5 minutes later or 5 months later, it's like, whoa, it's not feeling so good because it was familiar, but it was not a good familiar. And we've all done it with relationships. You meet people and you think, this person is not at all like the last relationship I was in. They look different, they act different, they feel different. A few weeks down the road, a few months down the road, you're going, oh my God, it's the same person. How did this happen? And it's very frightening. It's like, yeah. And it is, it's like, how does that happen? And a lot of it is frequency. Have you ever noticed how some people you can be around and they just make you feel good? You're in their presence and you feel uplifted. You feel good. And other people, you don't know why. You get around them and they make you angry or they pull on you and you immediately just feel, oh, pay attention. All frequency. And what we have done in the past, we attract not what was for our highest good necessarily. We would attract what was familiar. And so that familiarity would be like, wow, this must be something I need to get involved with. And sometimes it is. Sometimes there's that connection. You meet somebody and you have this immediate, I love this person, I'm in love with this person. Or we can meet people I've had this experience, you just don't like them, you don't know why. And that's usually been a good, I've known there's certain situations I can look back and I immediately did not like something, did not like somebody. But again, we're trained, especially women, we're supposed to be nice. Because if we say we don't like somebody or if we follow that, then we're bitches, you know. So, but it's true, you know, you look back on your life and you knew right away about certain people, about certain circumstances, but you ignored it. Because that programming came in about, well, now you should be nice, or you shouldn't, maybe you're wrong, and you're usually not. We talk about there's good fear and bad fear. Fear-based reality that leads you to want to control or be controlled is not good. Primal fear that's instinctual, that tells you intuitively there is a predator over here. I can't see him, but I feel it. You want to have that fear. You want to know. You want to feel the good kind of fear that's telling you there's something wrong. And again, we've been very cut off from that kind of fear. You see, I see it all the time. People are in very And I don't know, I must have had it from the time I came in with it. I remember being a little girl, and this is before we moved out into the country, it's in a little tiny town in Connersville, and uh, I'll never forget this as long as I live. My parents never said, and this is in the, I was born in 48, so it's been like the early 50s. They never said, don't take candy from strangers. I mean, that's what, they classically would tell people, but I never had that talk or whatever. I'll never forget as long as I live. I was with these two little girls. We had permission. We probably were 5 years old, 6 years old. I'll never forget this as long as I live. We walked up to, and Connersville has like 14,000 people. It's a tiny little town. Here pulls up this big car, big, expensive looking car. There's a man, rolls down the window, and he looked like Mr. Peepers. I mean, that's the one thing I remember about him. I felt it before I even looked at the man. And he rolled down the window and he said, 2 girls want some candy. And these 2 little girls almost got in the car, and I said, I can't even tell you, I don't even know what I said, but I looked at him and I think I spit on him or something. I did something because it was just a gut reaction. I knew he was evil. I knew. There was nothing alluring to me about this big car and this candy. Everything in me said, spit on this person, there's, whatever, didn't get that close, but spit at the car and go. And you all think back in your lives at certain times, you will be guided away from predators. You will be guided away. But if you don't pay attention, you get lured into things that you don't even know why you're being lured into them. And it's when we are disempowered. So in your lives right now, I encourage everybody, keep your heart open. It's not a time to close down. You do not want to open and close your heart. This is what causes all the heart disease and heart attacks and just unbelievable, I believe even breast cancer and all the different things in our society have to do with this opening and shutting of the heart chakra. It's in all of our music. Love hurts. Love, it's all this like woo woo woo, and love is blah blah blah, and and so pretty soon we start to we build up armoring. A lot of why people cannot lose weight, it's emotional armoring. They don't want people to be attracted to them, so they put on weight. We start to kind of trust, go out again with relationships, and people go, I don't know, but this time I'm gonna be cautious. Why? You don't have to be cautious. You should be working on yourself. You just work on you. Work on the feeling you want, the acceptance you want, the unconditional love that you want. The only way you're truly going to find it is from within. Because when you authentically love yourself unconditionally, you will vibrationally pull to yourself people that love themselves unconditionally. When you don't, you'll keep finding matching pictures to people that are in the same place you are. And they may not even be in the same place. So you want to look for reciprocal. And it's one of the hardest things for, quote, good people. People who tend to be loving and giving, and it's the way we're trained. For some reason, it's hard to receive. It's easier for people to give. And if you really think about it, though, it's very much a control factor. You're really in control more than you know, because you're the one giving. Oh, no, I don't need anything. No, it's just easier for me to give. And it's really unhealthy. And we get into martyrdom. We get into, all this kind of stuff. And it's not a place where we want to stay as an archetype for relationships. I always encourage people every day when they're working on themselves or working on relationships, because that's one of the most common things I hear every day. People come in, well, all men are like this, or all women are like that, or all marriages are like this, or all... No, they're not. All people and things are not like that. When you feel that, you're usually coming from a place of what you are feeling about a person, and you're projecting. So I would invite everybody to sit every day and think, how do I really feel about love, marriage, relationships, men, women, and see what comes up. Sometimes you'll be very surprised, because even if you think you've worked through things, sometimes you'll get just like this amazing, like maybe anger or like confusion or all of those kind of things. And always remember, and it's not about outward orientation of sexuality. It's not about if you're gay, if you're straight. I'm talking about love, 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 unconditional love. I'm not talking about stereotypical type of a relationship of male-female. I'm even talking about your friends around you. You'll find that as you shift, as you change, certain people that you used to hang out with, if you had a matching picture to going out and drinking because you're in pain and it's not healthy, you won't enjoy it. I mean, and there's nothing wrong with having a couple drinks, and you'll know that if you're having a good time with the person. But you'll feel it, and you'll know what that dependency, if it's a dependency or if it's a true friendship. So when you know that within yourself all of the archetypes dwell, and again, it seems to be a foreign concept in the Western world, but within our being, we have the ability to become our own mother, father, brother, sister, lover, savior. Whatever archetype we're looking for out there, we have that capacity. But we've been so trained that we have to model ourselves after somebody else. There's nobody like you on this earth. You are unique. You're a unique expression of spirit. And you have free will and powers of co-creation. So start every day with knowing that within your being, that's why the yin-yang sign is so important. What is the yin-yang? There's the white with the speck of black. There's the black with the speck of white. The inner psyche of a female is male. The inner psyche of a male is female. It's very simple. Jung called it the anima and the animus. We are not just one thing. If we are made in the image of Creator, and before they translated and cut out parts of the Bible, they left in certain things that were kind of interesting. In Genesis, it even says Elohim, and Elohim means we. In our image, we made them male and female. Obviously, if we manifest it as male and female, Creator is the Divine Mother and the Divine Father. It's not a male God. It's not a female goddess. It's both. And that's the danger of things we run into too. Because we've had cycles of matriarchal dominance, patriarchal dominance, and so people always want to go, oh, now it's the time of the goddess, and now it's the time of the, and we got to have the balance. We're actually in the time of the union of the male-female from within. One of the really ancient alchemical symbol is, and the Masons use it all the time, and the old royal houses in Europe use it as a symbol as well. And it's not about war. It's really about love and peace. It's a symbol of you can think of it as a phoenix or an eagle, one body, two heads. And it's the male and the female, and they have crowns. It's the king and the queen in joint rulership. It's a reciprocal. It's not about somebody's dominant and somebody's not. And that's how peace will be achieved on this earth, is when there's this healing of this enmity between male and female. And it is a purposeful enmity. That's why in the scriptures, they tried to blame Eve and Lilith and the women, and they did this, and there's this always going to be this discord, and there's going to be, it's just basically crap, okay? And it's very important to know that how can we find world peace? You have peace in you. You will create peace in your world around you at every moment. When you are angry, when you have discord, when you stay in that angry state, that's what you will create war. You'll create tension. You'll create negative things coming back to you. It's not that hard. The tough part is we have been programmed to not understand how it works, that everything out here, again, is a mirror reflecting what's going on inside of ourselves. So, know that it's good to be a spiritual being in a physical body. Know that it's good to be a sexual being and a spiritual being in a physical body. Know that it's good to be at one, at peace with yourself. Know it's good to understand things about inner relationship. And the true search for the beloved, there's many beautiful things, the Song of Solomon, and beautiful poetry that's written, tantric poetry that's written. But the true search for the beloved is the search for union from within. It's the search for God. It's the search for that union with the divine. And when we fell in the garden, we fell through fear into the illusion that we were separate from self, others, and spirit. So in the time that we're in, that illusion is being healed, which is why it is so painful at first, because the illusion isn't there. So a lot of things you thought were real or believed aren't so. And so it's been unsettling to people. Or you're finding that masks are being removed. You're finding that it's like peeling away layers of an onion within yourself, but also around people. I've had really interesting epiphanies where things I really thought I understood for years, where I'm getting even a bigger picture on why I did something or why I didn't do something, but also seeing the other players involved and going, oh my God, I never even perceived that this person had this motive or this thing. And so the more you are brave, because it takes a brave heart to keep your heart open, but the more you allow yourself to come out of magical thinking, fantasy land, I call it being euphanoid. It's the opposite of paranoid. It's a made-up word. The more you allow yourself to be awake, be aware. Yes, it's startling. Yes, it's overwhelming. Yes, sometimes it's painful because you think, does anybody else see this or get this? Yeah, there's a lot of people that are seeing and getting it right now. And you just keep going with it. You don't stop. You don't look back. You just push forward. And you'll know the difference between pushing forward in a way that's not right. We've all been there. We've all tried to make something happen, and it's just not happening. But what do? We keep trying to make it happen, and it usually turns out not well. It usually is like, there's a reason why it's not happening. So, same thing. If you're trying to accomplish something or you're doing something, and you seem to be meeting resistance, surrender to that and go, okay, what's the other plan? What else is there? That plan will open. That's what's happening with the mortgage business I'm going through. I stopped being fixated on a certain aspect, and I said, well, there's a million other people to get this little bit of money. I got this big amount of money. I can find somebody to get this little bit of money. Instead of getting fixated, it's got to be this person. They've got to comply. Why aren't they seeing this? Blah, blah, blah. The minute I let it go, made a couple phone calls, now some other things are in the works. And that's how it works. But we don't pay attention to that. We get so focused on what we think is a right thing, or how it should be. And a lot of times we don't even know why. It's not even a logical thing. It really has a lot to do with how when we fall down into that lower brain. And remember, we all have the reptilian brainstem. We all have this part of our brain that's from the reptilian energy, that fear or flight, and that part that wants to go, this is bad, this is good, that wants to be in that duality. And again, one of the big allegories of the garden was when we were eating from the tree of life, we were fine. Nothing died. They say we were like breatharians. Nothing had to die to live. It was eternal spring, and it was just this wholeness, this oneness. When we ate from the tree of the knowledge of good and evil, it's an allegory for the left brain, right brain. It's when we fell from that higher frequency and started to go, oh, this is good. No, this is bad. No, this is, and we got diverted. You can see it with animals, babies, little children. They don't tend to be in that lower left brain, right brain. They're in that alpha. They're in that just frequency of being. They're present. Everything is just what they're doing. That's what they're doing, and they're fun. They're having a good time. And then, adults come along and go, well, you shouldn't be doing that, or you shouldn't be thinking that. And pretty soon we fall into that, we forget. Yeah, just listen to, music will always tell us a lot of things. And Jim Morrison, I love Jim Morrison. I see him in dreams, talks to me. And this line came on today, smoke another cigarette, learn to forget. Learn to forget. And it's really what we've been taught to do, is learn to forget who we really were. We've been taught to forget. He remembered amazing things. He just couldn't integrate it all to this level, but he remembered. And that's the thing, remembering. We are remembering ourselves. We are gathering the parts of ourselves that have been scattered or have been perceived to be fragmented. Because anytime we are not present, anytime we are not in the moment, we fragment, we disassociate. We know this is what happens to children that were molested or abused. How do they survive it? They disassociate. They fragment. And then later in life they remember. And, there's so much about how the mind works and how the emotional body works. What's happening to everybody right now, all the pieces of you that you left somewhere, or you thought you left somewhere, all the parts of your real being, they're not really scattered around. You're really a whole being. What's really healing are the temporary times you did the disassociation, or the times that you pulled away or weren't present because you didn't want to experience something. As that is clearing away, the truth is you're going to see that you never separated. You've never left the garden. You've never left God. You've never left each other. You've never left yourself. The lie is that you are not whole, that you are fragmented, that you are scattered around, that you are not this beautiful being of light. To heal that illusion, and as the light has been coming down into the earth plane, it's illuminating the darkest corners of our body, minds, and spirits. So a lot of things we see in the outer world, and a lot of things that we see in our own lives, don't get hung up on how shocking some of it looks when you first see it. It's shocking when the light is turned on and you're no longer veiled and things aren't veiled. Yes, it's shocking. The light is healing you. The light is activating. The light is permeating every cell of your body. I remember back in July of 1987 was when I had the first TV show, Psychic Connection. We did a live audience, live call-in from Comcast every Thursday night, 7:30 to 8:30. And this was a scientific thing that was happening right at that time. That the scientists were saying this photon, or phi means light, that they didn't understand it, but this great amount of light was coming into the earth plane. And it was, and it did. And that's when my show would start in July. August was when the harmonic convergence was, when there was a huge awakening. If you all start to think back to, you know, kind of middle of August of 1987, there was a huge awakening of people. And that's how we found Serpent. We took the TV show to cover, we were supposed to go to your nearest sacred site, and I'd never heard of it. You know, who knew 3.5 hours from here, an hour east of Cincinnati, was this incredible magnetic vortex, this beautiful earthwork that is very intense. And I ended up a year later buying the 16 acres that backed up into the property and owning it for 16 years and doing an interesting amount of work out there and have an incredible connection. But it's a very intense, it's like anything. All the power spots they activate. They're very, very activating. But think back to that time in your lives, that 1987, and you'll find that there were a lot of things. That light was just inundating the earth plane. And look where we are now. Look at the amazing shifts in consciousness and ways we communicate and how it's all changing. What you're going to be experiencing between now and the end of May, because Spirit keeps telling me this April-May time is just this phenomenal time of transmutation and speeding up of your lessons. If you will stay open-hearted, reciprocal energy, stay in the moment, the amount of karma, the amount of lessons that you're going to be able to just go through so fast. And you've already gone through so many. They're just done. In the next 3 to 6 weeks, you're going to keep changing, shifting, transmuting, growing. You'll be so shocked when you look back even a week from now, 2 weeks from now, 3 weeks from now, from the things you're going through or you think are so monumental or weighing on you. It's been fascinating. I had 2 people in today that were born in 1968, back to back. They didn't know each other. And they had not been here in 15 years. Yesterday, I had 2 people, they were born the same year, I think it was 1963. They hadn't been here in 20 years. Every day, it's been like this for a few months, but especially the last few weeks, people that haven't been here in years. We opened this center in July of 1983, 30 years. It's hard to believe. And it was called the Isaac's Coffin Flotation Center. We had flotation tanks. And I did my work. I'm saying to these people, why'd you wait 20 years to come back? It's like, whoa, why'd you wait 15 years to come back? And all the answers were interesting. A couple of people had dreams. They saw me in a dream, and they knew I was supposed to come. Many of you have had dreams about me, where I show up in your dreams. You're all nodding your heads out here. You know it's time to come and see me. I do a lot of work with people in dreams. And there's just this general awakening that people are having and knowing that something is, they know something's different, so I better figure it out. I better find out what's going on. So it's really an exciting time. Move through the fear. Move through the blocks. Keep your heart open. Keep your mind open. Keep knowing that the path that you're on is your true path. You will know when you're not on your path. As a matter of fact, it's going to be easier and easier to be open, to be who you are, than not to be. You're going to find that a lot of things you used to identify with, or maybe stories you've been told about your own life, you may start to talk about a certain era of your life, or a story you told everybody over and over again, that you start to tell it and you go, nah, that's not my story anymore. Don't want to talk about that anymore. It's not, why? It's just a waste of air. It's just not anything I'm in or identifying with anymore. So it's a very, very alive, very exciting time on this earth. Does anybody have a question or anything you want to share or ask before we do a little meditation? Let's do meditation. And we're going to do a very simple one. It's not a big, heavy, weird thing. Just be open. This is a safe space to heal, to change, to grow, to learn. And whatever type of healing that you need on a mental, spiritual, physical, emotional level is open to you right now. I want you to feel how alive you are, how safe you are to be alive. I want you to let go of that fear that's telling you there's a terrorist around every corner, there's a predator, there's something that's going to rob you or take things from you. I want you to feel the safety of your own being, the safety and protection of Holy Spirit. I want you to feel and know that we are all one huge body of spirit. We are radiant, beautiful beings of light. And the universe is made up of just one giant body, one huge being of energy. We are cells of that being. We are part of that energy field. You may feel an amazing amount of heat moving through your body. There's a cool energy and there's a heat. The yin is the Divine Mother and will come in very often as a kind of cool energy. And the yang energy, the male, will come in very warm. There's a lot of heat maybe moving through your hands, moving through your body. In accordance with each person's free will and highest good, we ask the bodies to align mentally, spiritually, physically, emotionally into present time. Safe to let go of the past. It's safe to be in the present. It's safe to be totally in the now. Safe to remember who you are and why you're here on this earth at this time. I want you to feel the beauty of your own energy field. We're encased in a huge auric egg that goes out 20, 30, 40, 50, 60 feet, 100 feet. You're radiant, radiant energy. Your body temple, your physical form, is but one level of the vehicles that you're a part of and the energy field that you are a part of. So I want you just to feel the safety and protection and how safe it is to be open and be this beautiful light. This little light of mine, I'm going to let it shine. Not a time to hide your light under the bushel. It's time to take that covering off and let that light be a beacon that guides you, that will guide others into wonderful things. Let that light shine. Let that light go into every cell of your body. We've all had a lot of stress and fatigue and up and down and a lot of emotional things going on. I want you just to feel the heaviness and toxicity that's existing in the body, mind, and spirit, and I want you to let it go. I want you to imagine that there's a heavy wool cape that's wet, that all you have to do is unloosen it at the neck here and let it fall away. This is all the things you've accumulated through the eons, through the day, through the night, through interactions with negativity. Let it go. All the things that are not you, that are not right, that are no longer of service, let it go. I want you to feel the power of unconditional love. I want you to feel the power of true compassion. I want you to feel the energy surging through your body. From the earth, the magnetic field, the Divine Mother energy is moving energy up through your body, through the bottoms of your feet. This beautiful magnetic pull of gravity that keeps us bound to the earth in a good way. It's very nurturing, it's very positive, and I want you just to feel and know that you are a walking tree. And from the bottoms of your feet, in the bottoms of your feet, there's hundreds of wheels of light or chakras. Let this energy move up through your body. The earth is alive and well. The earth is transmuting the poisons, the misuse, the matricide that's going on. And the earth is going to shake the parasites off of herself. And you're not a parasite, so you're not in danger. You're fine. Just feel the love of the Mother, and love the Divine Mother, and love the earth. Feel the goodness and nurturing and beautiful sustenance that we get from all the living things on this earth. And value and honor life force. We are stewards. We are not owners of this earth. We are not given dominance in a way to control and do harm to animals, to the earth, the different types of things that are done to the earth. These ways will be changing. But feel the natural healing movement of the earth and your connection with her. Her blood that runs through her veins are the waterways. Her bone structure are the rocks. Just feel the beauty and reality of this entity that we are connected with. It's a beautiful, beautiful energy. Loving, sustaining, powerful. And I want you to feel this energy moving up through the tailbone area, perineum area of the body. This is the root chakra. We are walking trees. We have a taproot. It's a color black, color of the earth. And again, as you feel this taproot connecting you deep into the center of the earth, I want you to let go again of another layer of toxicity. Layer of fear, layer of blocked energy. Let it go. Let the earth transmute the energy. And feel the positive energy of the earth moving up through the body. And I want you to feel the power of the color red, the color of blood, the color of red, the color of life force. The sexual reproductive area of the body, the second chakra, is not just about sexuality or reproduction. It's where we co-create. It's where we create new life force in our own bodies. And I want you to just feel this beautiful red, red, red energy in that second chakra, cleansing. We ask all pictures of death, all pictures of abuse, molestation, misuse of energy in this area to be healed and transmuted. We ask the co-creative powers, the power to create new life force within our own being to come into full activation. Power in the blood. I want you to feel this beautiful blood red color moving through your whole body, nurturing you, creating new life force in the cells of your body. As we move with the red energy, I want you to feel right below the navel, there's what's called the Buddhic or the Christ flame. And it looks just like a flame. It's purple, it's orange, it's yellow, and it's going to ignite your central sun or your third chakra. And just as you would turn the knob on a gas stove, I want you to turn this flame on. And I want you to see it igniting this whole third chakra, this whole central sun. This is a very important part of your body. If we are made in the image of Creator, your navel, your omphalos area of the body is the center of the universe. And it's very important for you to be in the center. Feel the warmth of the sun. Feel the radiance of life force moving through the stomach, moving through the intestines, moving through the solar plexus, getting rid of stagnant, old, dead energy, burning it up. And I want you to visualize a little you sitting in your navel. I want you to come on down into this body temple. It's safe to be in your body. I want you to feel that microcosmic you sitting in the central sun, sitting in your navel. I want you to feel the warmth of the sun, the healing energy, the light radiating. It's moving on up to the whole chest area, the heart, the chest. And I want you to imagine the most beautiful color of emerald green. Color of healing, growth, filling the whole heart and chest area. Healing the wounded heart. It's safe to have your heart open. It's safe to actualize unconditional love. It's safe to send and receive unconditional love from self, others, and spirit. It's safe to always have the heart open. It's safe to be in a constant state of prayer and meditation. Prayer is when we send, meditation is when we receive. The unbroken circuit of life, of energy, moving and healing. I want you to feel the last of the pain, the hurt, the abandonment, unrequited love, rejection, isolation, being alone, the sadness, the grieving. Let it all come up to be healed. Let the wounds be exposed to the light so they can heal. Let all the disappointment, the betrayal, the confusion, let it all come up to be healed. I want you to visualize this beautiful love that's in your heart and in your being, the Divine Mother, Divine Father, this beautiful soulmate energy that you're looking for. It dwells within you. The beautiful friendships you're looking for, the connections you're looking for, longing for in the outer world that are reciprocal, that are life-giving. I want you to feel that yin-yang, that male-female energy from within uniting. We ask on any level that where you're harboring enmity, where there's fear, judgment of relationship, negative expectations. We ask all that to come forward to be healed. Any negative umbilical cords that are binding you, we ask the Archangel Michael to sever those now. Let them go. Feel the power of the unconditional love filling your heart, filling your body, filling your mind. The most beautiful color of pink, the color of unconditional love, and it has a beautiful gold and sparkly silver energy mixed in with the beautiful pink. Let this energy permeate all of your being. Just let it go into every cell of your being. Beautiful, beautiful light. I want you to feel safe to speak your truth. This is the color of sapphire blue, filling the throat. Safe to speak your truth. It's safe to hear your truth. Let this beautiful sapphire energy move up through the throat, through the gums, through the teeth, through the ears. It's safe to speak the truth. It's safe to hear the truth. It's safe to express yourself through song, through your voice, through speaking, through finding your voice. Let that energy move. I want you to feel the energy moving up through the pineal and pituitary gland up into the third eye. There are 2 pulse points in the forehead that are the functioning of the third eye. It's safe to open the third eye in a way that's right for you. I want you to picture the most beautiful violet color of purple, the red purple, filling that inner eye. We ask whatever gifts of spirit that you have, we ask them to come into activation in a safe way, in a guided way. We ask the third eye to be opened safely in a way that brings help and guidance to yourself, to others. And I want you to feel the top of your head opening, the crown chakra. We're born with a soft spot in our heads as babies are born. That's the spiritual umbilical cord. We come in and we go out that way. And at night, we go out and are connected with the silver cord into the dream states, dimensional states. But I want you to visualize the most beautiful color of royal purple, the blue purple. And imagine what, if you had a crown, what it would be made of, what it would look like, what it feels like on your head. Crowns are not just ornamental, they were made of certain metals and certain stones to be a conduit. They conduct energy from the electrical energy of the Divine Father. I want you to feel the energy of the Divine Mother, the magnetic energy. I want you to feel this amazing electrical lightning bolt energy of the Divine Father. It's not a punishing, judgmental Father image. It's an alive, beautiful, nurturing Father electrical energy. And I also want you to visualize the star that you're connected with. We were star-seeded from the universe. So I want you to visualize your star beaming down through the top of your head and beaming this beautiful electrical energy down through all of your being, connecting with the Divine Mother, creating new life, helping you remember your original divine birth. We speak to the DNA. We speak for an activation of the original divine blueprint to supersede, to override the sins of the fathers that go through 7 generations, to override weaknesses of the body, mind, and spirit. I want you to feel how alive you are, how awakened you are, how you're no longer captured. You're free. You should feel the love for all sentient beings, for all forms of life, for the connectedness. There are millions of people around this earth, around this universe, that connect in the way we are right now. I feel that connection with many from the other side. Many loved ones are here. Many beautiful beings of light. Many ancestors. We are here in agreement of wholeness and wellness and remembrance. As you slowly return to the consciousness of this room, this process of wholeness and integration and wellness and joy and happiness and fulfillment, and the actualization of unconditional love will continue into the night, into the dreams, into the days to come. You'll emerge feeling whole, refreshed, renewed, free from the bondage, free from the things that have kept you captured for a long time. Healed, restored at the body, mind, and spirit. And we send this energy out to all of our loved ones, all of our relatives, all of our relations, all of the earth, all of the universe, all of you out there in need of whatever. This is the energy specifically for anyone's, whatever's for your highest good. We send energy and light to use in whatever is the right path for you.
Oh,
It was good. Very, very good. Everybody did. We are teleported. Wow. Oh, wow, wow. Ooh.
it's amazing how bright it gets in here.
Yeah, it gets, I know. I always think the lights have been turned up really high or something. When we come back, it's like there's just, everything's filled with light.
I kept seeing an eye, somebody's eye, dark an eye, and then all of a sudden we start seeing, and then the light, and sparkly, the light.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
That's the all-seeing eye of Horus. Or there's many interpretations about the all-seeing eye. But yeah, and it's that inner eye opening. Yeah, yeah.
Slowly.
Yeah, wouldn't it feel good? Oh my God, it was like, I
Feel
know.
my head going.
I know. It was the ascension energy. It was amazing. It's just this, and this is the thing. Once you experience these things, especially in a group energy, it's like downloading a program, and you can experience it again. Because that's people's worst fear. They think, "Oh, this is great. Now I got to go home to some negative person, or I got to go to work tomorrow. How do I keep this energy?" It's going to be easier and easier for you to stay in the higher frequency, and it will be harder and harder for you to fall down into the other. Because it's just who you really are. And again, once you've experienced this, you can stay there. You can be there. When you start to feel yourself getting fearful or anxious or overwhelmed, just take a moment and go inward, and you'll connect back in with this energy. It's not something that comes and goes. It's something that the journey we just had, it's something that's always there. It's something that's always available, and it's a place that's real, and it's a place that is available to you at all times. So, yeah, it was really, really good. Really good energy moving. Wow. Does anybody have questions or Anything you want to share tonight?
I have seen the lake being, tossed about in the water.
The lake being a lake you go to? Yeah. Your spiritual place, yeah.
And the lake before I started coming there, I saw like just a drop, and it wasn't a teardrop. It was like,
Like a drop of water, like a drop. Yeah. Well, it's interesting. You saw the body of water, and then you saw the single drop. And again, it's kind of like that microcosm, macrocosm. Yeah. Yeah, it's neat the places that you get teleported to, because we all do have spiritual places, real physical places on earth that we feel a connection to. And those are places that you can visit any time without physically going there. Because, well, again, once you've been there, once you've downloaded it, once you've experienced it, you're there again. Yeah. Yeah, it's really interesting. Yeah, everybody looks different too. It's like, I think that everybody left behind a lot of old energy. I think there was a lot of heavy, just intense energy that was swirling around, and it's like everybody looks lighter and more open, just that open energy that's here right now. And again, there's the presence, this whole room is just filled with light, and there's so many beings of light that are here. And it feels really, really good. Anybody else have anything you want to ask or share? Says, nope, I'm just feeling good.
I feel
And
good, yes.
yeah, I know, it is. It's amazing.
It's like if you listen to you, and every time it's different, and stay within that energy, then you're okay. Don't stray away. Yeah, you're so right. Stay within that, and you're okay.
Exactly. Yeah, stay in your own. Don't turn your power over to anybody else. There's nobody like you. Don't let other people tell you what to be, what to think.
Right.
Don't get captured by any of that. Yeah, you have to listen and know. There's a knowing faith. There's a blind faith that can be very dangerous, but there's a knowing faith that when you know and you act on faith, it's a knowing faith that you feel in every part of your being. And you act on that, and it's always right. It's always right. It does not lead you astray. It does not get you off your path. And again, keep focused. Keep pushing forward. Let go of the things that you don't need or want anymore. On all levels, it's time to release, let go, let go. And as the things are releasing, you're just going to feel lighter and lighter and lighter. Definitely. There's just such a wonderful energy that is on this earth right now. And try not to get captured into watching television every minute, blow-by-blow accounts of this and that and things that happen. And there's always going to be drama. There's always going to be things that happen, and there's always going to be a lot of illusion around what really happened. And you don't want to buy into it's us, it's them, and patriotism, and we have to get them, and there's a lot of them, and they're after us, and it's like, whoa, wait a minute. It's how World War I and II started. It's how they all started. It's how all war and conflict starts. It's all about division and about what they're doing and what they're doing to us, and we must rise up and be more powerful than yeah, it's creepy stuff, and you just don't want to get caught up in it. You want to stay in your truth. You want to create peace. You want to focus on life and peace and fulfillment, and that's what will come to you. That's what will come to you. So, yeah.
I was thinking earlier when you talk about like the gut feelings and like trying to trust in that, it makes me think of a book I read, Malcolm Gladwell, who wrote The Tipping Point. He's probably one of my favorite nonfiction writers, and the second book he wrote was called Blink.
Oh, Blank and Tipping Point. Yeah, I've heard of those. I've not read them. Yeah.
Talks all about that, how we all know the answers. We, like you said, we don't, it's almost like we don't believe we do, or we second guess, or we
Right.
have that, and he actually does, like, scientific experiments and different type of experiments with people, and he does these experiments, and he talks about it in his book, how, all the time, we already know the answer,
Yes.
but that we get clouded by it, and how whether you're going to, he even does, I think, with like cards and like the lottery and things like that, and he does all these experiments, and he talks about how we know the answer. It's almost like we know the answer before we actually realize what the answer is, almost. It's like we know it within, and it's about tapping into and trying to figure out what that answer is. But it made me think about that because he wrote that book, and it's just really interesting, and I think a lot of us just have difficulties trying to tap into that because we do get clouded by so many other things of how we're brought up and whatever, and stereotypes, and like everybody's afraid to, give this person money, or or be nice to everybody, and you don't really, you don't want to be viewed to others as being, like you said, like a bitch or a heartless person or this or that, and it's.
Or we don't give. And then that's the other thing.
Right.
The opposite extreme is people that will never give. They'll never help. They'll never.
Right.
It's that middle road. It's like, it's that.
Right.
We go into the extremes. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's amazing how, how that is too. There's the extremes that are, and so what we're all trying to find is that middle road. It's just like when you first put something on a scale to weigh it, it goes like this before it comes to the balance point. That's basically what's been happening for all of us. We're at a tipping point.
Yeah.
It's like we're about ready, instead of doing this severe thing, we're about ready to come to that balance point. And you'll feel it within your own being. You'll feel when you have that true balance of the body, mind, and spirit. You just feel good. And when you're out of sorts and when things aren't right, you know it. You feel that imbalance. It's very, very real. And what we do, instead of trying to find the point of balance from within, we, again, try to find something to balance us that has to do with something outside of ourselves. And that's when, you'll never get to that true space within your own being. It's important to be social, but it's also, we're in a very important time to find quality time to go within. People are so afraid to be alone. We are just programmed to not want to be alone. We get in the car, we turn the radio on. We get home, we turn the TV on.
Mm-hmm.
We constantly bombard ourselves with sound, with activity, and and we'll do kind of anything to avoid ourselves or being alone. There's just something about that is, and find that peace and that stillness of the night, of that space, wherever it might be. That when you embrace aloneness, you're never alone. It's just like when you embrace death, there is no death. It doesn't have power over you anymore. It's like all those things. That's just really, truly the way they are. They're truly, truly that way. So.
Yeah, that makes me think too, because you talk about like letting go of the fear. I think, actually just remembered this, I don't think I told you, but I keep having this reoccurring dream with my mom, how it's almost like she sells the house she's at and she rebuys the house that I grew up in.
Oh, interesting.
But it's always like, I have to go there and get like a security system on it. Or she's a security system because like I'm so scared in the dream. And I'm always in the dream thinking like, why did she rebuy this house? And she's always like, oh, it was a good deal and I just sold the other one. And I'm always telling her in the dream, I'm like, you need to sell this house. Like, it's not in a good neighborhood. Like, you need to go buy your other house. Like, why did you do this? But through the whole dream, I'm always trying to, like, get this security system together. And it's like someone's always trying to cut me a deal, or people are trying to put the system up, or really trying to, like, rob her or whatever. And it's weird. Like, I have it probably, like, once a month.
Oh no, we need to heal that. What that is, our home is our consciousness. So dreams are always about ourselves, or parts of ourselves. And when you have a reoccurring dream, you need to think about what was going on in your life, in the life of your family, when you lived in that old house. So it's literally about it's about something that's undone. That you, in your dream, your mother's gotten a deal, so she's going to buy this old house.
Yeah.
Which is not a good deal. I mean, you feel the need to protect your mother. You got to put the security system, and we got to find. It's all symbolic. It's very symbolic and literal. And it's about a place, probably as a group consciousness, that you may all be trapped in. You know, it's part of that working out the last of that family karma that we've worked on with you guys. And it's interesting. It's your dad's birthday. Today.
Yeah.
How old would he have been?
77.
Wow. Yeah, I feel him here tonight, really strong. So I think there's going to be a healing with that dream where you probably won't have it much longer. You know, you're just going to be free from having to...
And when we were meditating, it made me think too of, because I started thinking about him, and then her sister that just
passed, yeah, I know.
And it made me think of how when he passed, and when she found out, I was the only person there with her. And then when her sister passed, I was the one who told her.
Let's see, it's that you're the security system. You have the link of protector.
And I didn't know. My cousin sent me a message in Macedonian over Facebook.
Oh, she passed to Macedonia, yeah. Okay.
And I read it to her, because I'm like, oh, he sent me a message. And I'm like, I don't know what it says. And then I read it to her.
You're going, oh, yeah, it's a message.
I felt like such an...
Yeah, we got a message. Ew.
And then she just lost it.
Oh
So I called my sisters, and my sisters, like, you know, they knew what it was because they grew up more, you know.
You're the baby.
Well, I'm the baby,
family,
so
right.
I wasn't given, like, they grew up more as, like, Macedonian and Bulgarian as a first language. Whereas
Sure.
when I was, they helped raise me. And so, like, I'm telling them, and they're like, Jesus, Laura, they're like, what the hell? You know, and I'm like, I didn't know. Like, they're giving me a hard time, but when we were meditating, like, I kind of just all thought about that, and it was weird how, yeah.
So that's been your role, yeah, to be. It's interesting how we look in family situations to how it's how it works. You know, it's how there's a lot of times that's what goes on. But see, what I feel is happening too, I feel like this great liberation coming for you and your sisters and your mother, and I feel like there's just this huge ending of so much genetic warfare and the things from the countries you were from and different things that happened. And oh my God, you know, just the ancient of days things that were going on. That's what I kept feeling tonight too, because I feel your father's in this very high, peaceful place. And I definitely feel that you're coming into a place where, and I'll share this because it's what I'm being shown, you're not going to feel like you have to take care of your mother, because I really feel like your mother's going to meet somebody. All right, this is good.
Okay.
Don't laugh, I'm feeling it.
I believe you.
Yeah, because I think that your husband wants you to meet somebody. I feel like there's enough time passed, and I think it's time, you know? And everybody's roles can change. Everybody can be free and be happy and go on with life and, yep, be done with the heavy stuff.
Put it in the past.
Put it in the past. It's not something you just keep reliving and reliving and reliving. It's done.
Yes.
It's over, it's done, it's finished, and now there's life. And that life force is just really abounding. All you have to do is open to receive it, and that you'll feel it. It's just electrical. The air is just really filled with this light and this life energy. So yeah, that's good. That's good stuff. And I think you'll have real vivid dreams about this. So I think that you'll notice a change in your dreams. Yeah. Yeah, your sister,
Which one?
Stanka,
Okay,
unbelievable.
I know.
And she wrote the story. I think she's going to write. She wrote the story about following me.
Yeah.
This is unbelievable. Unbelievable. She's in nursing school at Anderson, right? Getting ready to graduate.
Yeah.
So, my mother had gone into decline. My brother and I had a meeting scheduled at Hooverwood on April 10th, 10 in the morning. Go in, and one of the people who was supposed to be with us, they weren't there because they said they were meeting with, they had a group of people. So then we proceed through the day. Then, as some of you know, then a lot of things happened that day. It was just the wildest day, in and out of there, and being back in there and being with my mom when she made transition, and that night at 9:50 and 8:50, it was just a miraculously beautiful experience. So that same day, after we'd had the meeting, so much happened that day that I can't believe that she crossed that night, because it was in and out of there just like a million times. So my brother and I went to the funeral home. We went to Aaron Rubin's we didn't make the plans, but we just went to make sure that's where we wanted to be. Then she passed that night. Then on Friday, we went to temple. My mother was not Jewish, but my brother had converted, and the rabbi had invited us to come and do light a candle and different things. So I walk in, and who do I see? Is your sister,
I know.
Stanka, at the temple. I'm going, what's she doing at the Jewish temple?
I know.
And she's with this group of people, and she goes, I've been following you for 3 days. I'm going, what are you talking about?
Yeah, I know.
You've been following me for 3 days. Oh my God. The group of people that the people at Hooverwood were meeting with at 10 o'clock when we had our meeting, Stanka was in. So she saw me,
Yes.
but she said I was so disturbed looking because things were going with my mother that she didn't say anything.
Yeah.
We go to the Aaron Rubins. They next go to the Aaron Rubin.
Yeah.
And they see that we've been there because they must have seen our names written. We were thinking about doing services there. Then Friday, they came to the temple to serve us, because the point of Anderson, which I think is wonderful, that they're teaching all the different faiths, and they're teaching the nurses how to be ecumenical. But I mean, you could not, if you tried to orchestrate
Yes.
Yeah.
Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and how it happened with your sister, you could have knocked me over. When I walked in there and saw your sister, this girl, I'm like, what is going on here?
Yeah. She called me too.
Oh my
Like,
God.
oh my God.
Seriously, I was like because I'm used to this kind of stuff, but that was huge. There were that many boom, 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 boom. That's when you know. And your sister frequently sees me in dreams. I come a lot to her in dreams for something. There's a lot of, so on some level, there was just this connection. And it was so cute because they have a female rabbi there too, and she's wonderful, Rabbi Nadia. And, yeah, she did part of the service that night. All of it was interesting. Yep. It's like, yeah, we were, I kept telling my brother, I said, I just think it's to be today, tomorrow, it's right here. He goes, who are we going to get? And I said, well, I really love Rabbi Nadia. She walks in the room.
Yeah.
And she makes my brother and my nephew, who's 16, 17, put your hands on it. Let's lay hands on her. I'm like, good. It's easy to get somebody else that's not you to get your family. And so we're all connecting and saying this prayer. It was the most amazing thing, the way it all happened. Then I had to leave and go sign tax paper. It was just the weirdest day. Then I had to come back. Then I had to get my hair done. And I thought, well, if I don't get my hair done, it was weird. I'm pulling into where I get my hair done, and a truck is pulling out, and it said on the side of the truck, full circle.
Are you kidding?
No, I'm not kidding you. And what I had been talking about in you can't make it up. And that's what I had been talking about in the oracles. Preceding that was how it's all gone full circle. When I saw that truck, I was like, oh my, I mean, literally, they were pulling out, as I was pulling in, I went by them. And then I go back to the nursing home. It was this dance of who was there and who came in and who left. And then at the very, my brother and, they'd left again, and a family friend had come in, and I said, Judy, I don't remember how I met you. And she said, well, I met you in 1981 when you did a reading for me in Broad Ripple when you had your place in Broad Ripple. I'm like, oh my God, I had no idea, because she'd become such a good friend of my mom. My mom used to teach Louise Hay, You Can Heal Your Life, and do lots of teachings, and she ran the flotation tanks, and she did all these wonderful things. And the last two weddings that my nephews got married, Judy had gone with to help take care of Mom and help her get dressed and be with her, so we could be with her too, but not be just, totally, because you need a lot of help with stuff.
Yeah.
And so here are Judy and I, and she's got to leave for California the next day to go see her son, and it was about 8:30, and I said, Judy, there's something going on. We got to touch Mom. We got to do this healing. And she's learned healing touch. So we go over and we lay hands, and I could see my mother was this beautiful being of light, but I saw a big, it wasn't dark, but I knew she was struggling with letting go. And she kept looking up, and I knew she saw my brother, and I knew she saw her family, and I knew what it was. And I felt like saying, Mom, Dad's not where you're going to go. I knew she was struggling with lots of some stuff with my dad, because they got divorced when I was in college, and when she, in her dementia, the 18 months she lived here, for her 3-month mantra of the 18 months was, yep, he came home at 3 in the morning and I divorced him. Yep, he came home at 3 in the morning and I divorced him. Yep, and I would find pictures of my dad. I never did find his head, and she'd cut off his head. But I just find his body. I'm like, whoa, I wonder what she's doing with the heads. I can't find him. And she was never like this. And then in the dementia state, that's really what dementia is about. They're like letting go of the emotional stuff. And then it was fine. And she'd say, oh yeah, I remember him. He was okay. It's hilarious. And I'm like, okay. So I could see that one last, and so I was just, and I actually could feel my dad there. I said, no, he's here. It's fine. It's all good,
Yeah.
And so we did that last little sweep, and she turned the most beautiful, beautiful, 90 turned this beautiful rosy red, and her beautiful blue eyes turned like the most, like unusual color of blue. And then Judy goes, she doesn't have a pulse. I'm like, what? It was like a movie thing. It was like, whoa. So I ran to get, I know they had to do official time of death or whatever, so I ran out to get, and there were two black gentlemen that were nurses, and they were from Uganda, somewhere in Africa.
Yeah.
And they came in, and her favorite aide was there too, and they came in, and they were feeling her pulse, they were going, yeah, and all of a sudden, she opens her eyes. I swear to God, this is like the strangest thing. She opens her eyes and they go, whoa, no, she has a pulse. And then she was gone.
Yes.
And they go, how did you do this? I go, I don't know, because they saw us, running the energy, and they were like, whoa. And I said, sometimes they need help because they can get stuck. They can get in, they want to go, but, she was in such a weakened state.
Yeah.
And it was the most, I was so happy to be with her.
Right.
Was so happy to be with her that it was very difficult, but at the same time, it was a beautiful thing. And there's no death, and so that you just live on. So yeah, it was so amazing to me that your sister. I mean, what are the odds of that?
But
I mean,
when she called me, she said, she told me that your mom died. I said, did Marilyn go? She said, no. She said, after she saw you, your face was kind of, and I said, did you go to her mother? She was busy, in and out. She said, I didn't bother her. But when we went to the mortuary, guess who they showed us? She said, Joyce Iser. And that's how I found out, oh my God, she has died. She said, I mean, it was just
So
one thing.
she walked
Did they
in.
actually show you the body?
Yes.
Uh-huh.
Oh my God, I didn't know that. Are
She
you
said-
kidding me?
She said as soon as she
Are
walked
you
in,
kidding me?
she said it was the first one right there.
Oh my God, no, I missed that one.
Yeah. She said,
Well,
Because
she
they,
didn't talk fast.
they've been on Thursday. Oh my God, so
Yes.
they actually,
Yes.
and it was my mother.
yes.
God,
She said,
I'm
Mother,
stunned.
and I said, oh.
just when I think I can't be
And then
surprised.
she called
Yeah.
me Friday night when she saw
So at the
you and your
temple.
brother. But then Thursday they went to Parahost.
So she was, I feel
Yes.
glad, that makes me feel comforted that she
Yes.
saw my mother's body.
Yes. So.
Because I'm very old fashioned about this. It's like when it took them an hour and a half for the body, for them to come to pick her up. And so
Right,
yeah.
my brother and I sat with her
Yeah.
and I told him to watch. I said, look, and you will see movement because we're made up of different vehicles. And it's one of the reasons they don't, bury sometimes for 3 days. We have different
Right.
levels of things that happen with the physical, and there are Tibetan monks that when a monk will die, they will sit and they'll know when to cremate, and they can sometimes sit a long time and they just have to watch the vehicle, they watch the energy move. And my brother could actually see it. He goes, oh, I see what you're saying. You could see, like,
Right.
it's really interesting, you see these little ether things moving around.
Yeah.
And it was so cool because to me, and she wasn't embalmed because we were going to have her cremated.
Sure.
And so it was all,
Well, that's even like with her sister, because
Wow.
it's still kind of in the old country. 'Cause so
Yeah.
many people.
Her daughter came because her son was there, and my sister, finally I got a hold of her because she works nights, she's a nurse, and Saturday, and she was telling me like Monday night, she called her, she was working nights, and she said her legs hurt, so she told her brother to give her something for pain, so she slept. She said, I'm gonna call you later. She said, no, I wanna sleep. So in the morning, when my sister got up, well, all the symptoms she described, she was having heart attack, but over
Wow.
there, they don't,
right.
So she called her son, and the youngest one, his house is next to hers, and she said, call your sister. So he called her, she took a taxi from the city, it's about 3 miles. So she said, I went in the house, she had one eye closed, one open.
Wow.
As soon as she saw her daughter, she closed the eye. And my niece grabbed her. Well, in the meantime, they called the ambulance, and the doctor came, and she started breathing heavy, and she kept holding her in her arms. And so the doctor came, and he said, she's going. She said, just let her die, but my niece kept holding her, in her
Right.
arms. And then eventually she died.
But then, like, what they do over there, what I think is
They stay all night.
Yes, they sit awake. I think it's
Yeah.
what you should do.
Yeah.
I don't like strange people taking my people's bodies.
No, and they sit
But you're
there.
taking these bodies.
Because my sister.
That's a respect to me. I must have like really old. I'm an old.
No, and I agree, but I think it's like part of the healing process.
Well, it
of
is to
everything.
acknowledge the death, and people want to just whisk the body away. It's the same thing. Oh, just take it away. We don't want to see.
Yeah.
You got to
Right.
see. It's a
Because
process.
my sisters, they were like, oh my God, is mom gonna go? And mom's like, I can't go. They're gonna do the funeral.
Right.
She's like,
They
I
didn't
won't
embalm.
get
They
there.
just do it right.
Yeah.
But they keep them in the house and they like
Right.
wash them,
They wash the
clean
body.
them,
That's exactly right.
They dress them,
Yeah.
Exactly.
and put them and wait all night. Her brothers and her one of her sisters.
I like that. See.
They all stayed all night. In the morning, everybody, got
at 7
ready.
a.m. they
And
go and they,
around 1 o'clock.
There's no need to embalm or put.
Yeah.
Make them look like. Oh, that's my favorite one. Oh, they look so good. People were saying that with when my dad died, and I go, no, he's dead.
Yeah.
He doesn't look good.
Yeah, I know.
No, he really doesn't look that
good.
Oh my God.
She said, oh my God, they did a horrible job.
Oh,
That's
job.
all I needed to hear. Who cares? He
Right.
died.
Exactly.
I'm suffering. So,
yeah, I remember I didn't even want to see my dad when he passed because it didn't even look like him.
Right.
And I
well,
remember
she
just
ran
being
away.
like,
She said, that's not my
That's not your fault. Right. Oh, yeah. And you have to have these processes. And what was interesting, because some of the grandchildren were flying in. They were all, Marilyn came in from, people came in from all over the place. And so they had her in cold storage, basically.
Yeah.
And so when we came for the funeral on Sunday, we knew that people were going to be able to view her. Well, I had no idea just for us, she was already, they just had her laying out. We're like, whoa, walked in the room, it was like, whoa. But it was kind of cool because it was like, and it caught the grandchildren off guard too, because it was like, whoa, this is okay.
Yeah.
And they were just shocked. It was just kind of a shocking, but then it was like, whoa, okay, good. We're glad we had resolution with it. She wasn't made up. She wasn't,
Right.
and then, so it was just a natural. Yeah, it's like when my grandmother died in Kentucky, my dad's mother. I was 5, and we drove in the middle of the night down to Kentucky, and my poor mom, she had no idea what she was getting. She had like this 2-room cabin with a dirt floor, very poor. My mother's from a whole different culture, Dutch people. And we go in, and, there's my grandmother, and my mom and the women were expected to go and wash the body. And I'll never forget, my grandmother had long hair, just beautiful hair, and all of us kids are looking in and we're seeing our grandmother naked. We're like, whoa. But it was kind of beautiful, and watching the women wash her.
Yeah.
And then same thing, then they had the ceremony, and then they were singing the song. It was interesting because it kind of freaked me out as a little kid. It's like, my mother's not dead, she's only sleeping.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a wonderful song. It's a really interesting song.
That's funny because my nephew, his grandmother who passed, his side of the family, and his father who passed, they're from Kentucky.
Yeah.
They do the same thing too.
Yep.
When they pass,
Yep.
they keep the body in the
Oh, yeah.
house but then my sister and I went to his grandmother's funeral because I wanted to be there. And, they keep the body in the house until they go to the cemetery, but then they take it to the cemetery, and then all of the family members.
They dig the hole.
They dig the hole.
That's exactly right.
And then they physically put the dirt, and my sister and I talked about it, how
It's very interesting.
healing that could be to physically say we are burying
Absolutely.
the body.
Oh, you're part of a process. You're part of something. Yeah, and where my grandma, and I've been to all the family cemeteries now with all the ancestors and stuff, but, 5 years old, at this point, whatever, early 50s, I remember them loading up the casket and putting her, it was a handmade casket, of course, and on a horse, and there was a wagon with a horse, and it was so, at that point, now there's a better road to get to it, but we didn't even go because it was like it was like steep, and they took her up, and that was so mysterious to me as a child of like not having that closure. And then later, as an adult, I've gone many times up to the cemetery, and it's just the neatest thing.
Are you still?
It's on.
Oh, okay.